Hello everyone, students. Today we are talking about deforestation. What do you think what is deforestation is? Students, we are on the subject of environmental studies and we talked about various issues like we talked about the environmental protection, we talked about the environmental pollution, and we talked about the various case studies were relatively very get successful for the environmental protection. Today I'm going to explain you the topic about what is deforestation. You all are know about the forest. Forest means हिंदी में कहते हैं जंगल. Forest means where the vast array of plants, animals, and microorganisms live. It is a forest means there was the mass array of the plants, animals, and the various natural habitats. Now, what is deforestation? Why the forest needed, beta? Forest is needed. Forest is important for everyone. Forest is important because yes, it impact ecosystem, it impact biodiversity, it impact climate, it impact human communities. Deforestation refers to the large scale removal of forest cover or tree stands from land, which is then converted to a non-forest use. Clear, students? It refers to what? It refers to the large scale removal of forest, means large scale removal of forest is there or tree stands so that the land that get free from it can be converted into non-forest use. This process involves the clearing of forest or woodlands to make the land available for other uses such as agriculture, urban development or mining. Basically, this deforestation process is done so that on the land that get free from the forest, from the tree stands can be used for the agriculture purpose, for the urban development purpose, and for the mining purpose. Deforestation can occur due to human activities such as farming, infrastructure development, natural causes, wildfires, storms, logging. There can be many. Means deforestation is not always that a government want, but there can be the various reason of the deforestation. It can occur, students, due to various human activities, such as human wants the various several individuals were at the one place and they want the place to be decided. For that, deforestation is required, such as logging. For the farming purpose, land is required, so deforestation is needed. For the infrastructure development, for making the roads, bridges, dams, we require certain forest infrastructure development. Or there can be any natural cause. For example, there can be any wildfire, there can be any storms, for which deforestation becomes very necessary. But loss of forest makes an impact on ecosystem also. It impacts on biodiversity, it impacts on climate, and it make an impact on human communities. You are listening, students? What does loss of forest impact? This loss of forest impact ecosystem, this impact biodiversity, this impact climate, and this also impact human communities. Now, what is the importance of forest? As I have told you, it is the importance of forest only. That if we don't have the forest, it will impact the ecosystem, it will impact the biodiversity, it will impact the climate, and it will impact the human communities. But how it is impacted, we will study it in detail. Now, biodiversity, that is habitat. Forests provide habitat for the vast variety array of plants, animals, and microorganisms. They are home to more than half of the world terrestrial species. Get, students? As you individuals, the person, natural individuals, require the land to live, require the home to live. This forest is the home for certain animals. And you can't take home of any. If somebody takes your home, what you feel like? You feel like everything has been destroyed. In the same way, this forest is the home for plants, animals, and microorganisms. And they were the home to more than half of the world terrestrial species. How you can take its home? They are living there. Instead of it, forest offers essential services such as pollination. As we have seen in COVID, many of the persons who didn't getting their opportunities at the places where they are living, they are forced to come back to their hometowns. And when they are not getting transport, they come by only walk-in. So if this forest will not be there, no option will be left to the plants and animals also. They will go there and they have to do this, and which will create a lot of problem for you also, students. Forests offer essential services such as forest offer pollination, so forest offer seed dispersal, forest offer pest control, forest offer soil formation. See what are the various ecosystem services forests do. Forests protect us from the pollution, right? As there were the several trees, there were the several animals, microorganisms who protect us from this pollution. Pollution doesn't come to us. They stop it at their end only. Seed dispersal, various seeds we get from the forest only. Pest control methods, as various of the medicines were created in forest only. And the soil formation. How the climate is regulated through the deforestation or the forest. Carbon sequestration. Forests act as carbon sink, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, storing it in biomass and soil. This helps mitigate climate change. See, students, you have not even imagined that. Today you are learning this. And I hope you all have students learned it. Till now you only think that this forest is only for the animals and the jungle is something to be looked on, that we are going only for the visiting or for the summer break. No. This forests are the necessity of us also. Like land, bridges, dam are the necessity. In the same way, forests are also the necessity for us. Because as you are listening, as it is written, it acts as a carbon sink, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and storing it in biomass and soil. Forests influence local and global climates by regulating temperature and maintaining atmospheric moisture levels. What forests do? Forests influence local and global climates. It influences local climate also, it influences global climate also. By what? By regulating temperatures and maintaining atmospheric moisture levels. So this done by the forest. They influence very local and global climates by regulating temperatures and maintain atmospheric moisture levels. Now, what is water cycle in the importance of forests? Forests play a very crucial role in the water cycle by absorbing rainfall, reducing surface runoff, and facilitating groundwater recharge. See what the forests do with the water cycle. It plays a very important role in the water cycle. It absorbs the rainfall, as there was so much plants, there was so much species in everything, and obviously the land and the soil of the forest is so much dry. So it absorbs the rainfall, reduce the surface runoff. Yes, surface the runoff get reduced and groundwater get recharged due to this forest. Means if we want to increase the level of groundwater, more and more trees should be planted and we should have to protect our forest. Trees, which are the nature's biggest gift to us, they filter pollutants from water. The trees do various things for us. And trees maintain water quality in rivers, lakes and aquifers. What trees do? Tree not only filter pollutants from water, it also maintains the water quality of the river, water quality of lakes and water quality of aquifers. What does the forest do for soil conservation? Tree roots bind the soil, preventing erosion and maintaining soil fertility. What the tree roots do? They bind the soil. They make the soil at one place. It is binding the soil. Tree roots make all together all the soil, preventing its erosion. Means soil didn't go there, air, this side and outside, it all get at one place and it prevents erosion, and which helps in maintaining the soil fertility. Forests also contribute to nutrient cycling by decomposing organic matter and enriching the soil. May forests enrich the quality of the soil. It contributes to nutrient cycling. What economic value does forest gives to us? Forests provide valuable resources such as timber, fuel wood, fruits, nuts, medicinal plants. See how much this forest gives to us. Timber is provided by forests, fuel wood, fruits, nuts, and medicinal plants. Many communities depend on forests for their livelihood, including indigenous tribes, farmers, and rural population. They are dependent on forests only. The person who reside around the forest, they all are dependent on the forest for their livelihood. So see what are the benefits does forest gives to us. It maintains water cycle, it maintains soil conservation, it maintains economic value, it maintains climate, it maintains biodiversity. So you are listening, students, how so much benefits are we are providing with this forest, which we are thinking that they are of no value. No, students. They help us in maintaining water cycle, soil conservation, economic value, biodiversity, climate change. How much it is important. Forests also hold this cultural and spiritual significance for many communities and indigenous peoples. Many of the persons have their very culture and spiritual significance from many of the trees, from the forest, from the plants, like in India, in Hindu culture, from the banyan tree, from the peepal tree. Peoples have their own spiritual significance. They feel like that they have the cultural significance with the forest, they have spiritual significance with the trees, plants, and for the many communities, forest worked like the god, have a spiritual connection with the forest. Forests offer various recreational opportunities such as camping, wildlife observation, contributing to tourism and local economics. See, forests, as I've told you, you only think only that benefit only for them. But that benefit is also given to you by the forest only. So forest, if there are forests, then only you get this benefit, and then only this can be a proper measure for having an economic value for the government also and for the private individuals also. So you can do hiking there, you can do camping there, you can have the wildlife observation, you can contribute to tourism, you can contribute to local economies. Forests act as natural barriers against natural disasters such as floods, landslides, storm. If there are more and more trees, if there are more and more forests, so this will become natural barriers for all things. If deforestation will be done at the large scale, forests will be cut out from the large scale, and more lands and infrastructure will be done. What will happen, students? It will adversely affect the climate also. And yes, we can't be safe from this natural disasters like flood, landslide, and storm. They will come easily into the roads and the urban areas also. Healthy forests contribute to resilience of landscape and communities against the impact of climate change, as I've told you. If the forests are healthy, they are good. They contribute to minimize the risk of the landscape and communities so that the climate change impact can be reduced. So as we have talked about, if we prevent deforestation, then what will be the importance of this? May it have the same importance as we have talked about, that what are the various importance of forest. In the same way, to preventing deforestation is also very important, because if you are preventing the deforestation, you will preserve biodiversity. Protecting forests is critical for maintaining biodiversity, as many species are forest dependent and cannot survive in other habitats. Means if forests will be cut down, that species will not be survived, and we will lose that all species. Preventing deforestation helps reduce greenhouse gas emission, essential for global warming and achieving climate goals. So if you want to reduce this greenhouse gas emissions, deforestation should be done, which is very much important for combating global warming and achieving climate goals. Forest conservation support sustainable development by ensuring that forest resources are available for future generation. Forest conservation, what it supports? It supports sustainable development by ensuring that that these forest resources will be available for future generation. In my last lectures also, I have told all you that we all are eager and we all are directed towards environmental protection. The basic reason is that, student, that if there will be the environmental protection, then yes, if we can leave something for our future generations. Forests contribute to the human health by providing clean air, water, medicinal resources. Preventing deforestation helps protect these vital services. And no one can survive without water, air, and medicinal resources. Everyone requires this. So if you want this all resources for you all, it's very necessary that we should protect the forest. Many indigenous communities depend on forests for their way of life. Protecting forests helps preserve their cultures and livelihoods. Now, what are the various causes of deforestation? Why does deforestation happen? Deforestation happens due to land clearing. Mining operation requires extensive land clearing to access mineral deposit. This involves removing large swathes of forest cover, which disrupt local ecosystem. Seeing students, this mining operation, when the mining operation done, mining activities also release very harmful pollutants into air and water. For instance, heavy metals and chemicals used in mining process can contaminate water sources, affecting both aquatic and terrestrial life. The removal of vegetation for mining increases soil erosion, leading to sedimentation in water bodies, which can adversely affect aquatic habitats. See, this mining affect not only land clearing, it affects pollution also, and it creates soil erosion also. It causes various adverse effect, not only for the individuals, for all the animals and for all the habitats who were living in the nature. This can be aquatic, they can be terrestrial, any, but they are making an adverse effect. So mining is the greatest reason for having a deforestation. Dam building. Creating of reservoirs for dams involve flooding large forest areas, submerging habitats and displacing wildlife. What has happened? As dams is created for reserves of the water, when the water gets released from these dams, it goes to the large forest areas, which this when it goes to the large forest areas, it submerges these habitats and obviously wildlife get displaced. So it becomes a very great problem for the forest. Dams can fragment habitat, isolating wildlife population and reducing genetic diversity. Means these populations can be reduced, genetic persons population can decrease, so more diversity will not be there. So this can be happening due to the dam building. Changes in natural water flow pattern, means water flow pattern get changed, and it can be lead to reduced water quantity downstream, affecting forest ecosystem and biodiversity. Seeing students, that's how this dam building, the causes of deforestation are what? The causes of deforestation are mining, dam building, that adversely affecting the environment. Impact on forest diversity and tribal population. Both mining and dam building lead to significant habitat destruction, which results in the loss of flora and fauna. Tribal communities often inhabit forest areas. Deforestation forces them to relocate, disrupting their way of life and cultural practices. Deforestation what them force that they will be relocated from their places, that their whole life get disrupted and their cultural practices also get disturbed. Tribes rely on forests for their livelihood, including hunting, gathering, and agriculture. Deforestation, yes, make them deprived from all those resources. They have to be strive for their livelihood. The forced relocation and loss of traditional lands lead to the erosion of cultural identities and traditional knowledge among tribal populations. See what this deforestation have done. This forced the relocation, traditional lands have lost, which obviously when the person relocated to different places, their cultural identities get eroded and their traditional knowledge also get eroded. They converted or they started to live like other peoples and their tribal population. Now we talk about the another topic, that is energy resources. What is energy resources are? Energy resources are natural resources that can be converted into energy to perform work. These resources are used to produce electricity, to provide heat and fuel transportation and industrial process. What students, for what purpose we using these resources? These resources can be used to produce electricity, to provide heat, to provide fuel, transportation and industrial process. Energy resources that we are learning can be classified into two main categories. That is renewable and non-renewable. Renewable energy resources are solar energy, wind energy, hydropower, biomass, and geothermal energy. Solar energy means energy that is harnessed from the sun using photovoltaic cells or solar thermal system. From where? Using from the sun using photovoltaic cells or solar thermal system. Wind energy, energy obtained from wind using wind turbines. Hydropower, energy generated by the movement of water, typically in dams or flowing rivers. Biomass, that is the energy derived from organic materials such as plants, agriculture residues, and animal waste. Geothermal energy, that is the energy that is obtained from the heat stored beneath the earth's surface. Clear, student? We have these 5 renewable energy sources that are the sources which can be used, which can be renewed to the other things. So these are classified into 2 categories. Non-renewable energy sources means they can't change their form. They have to use in the same way. Like energy sources such as coal, oil, natural gas, that is formed from the remains of ancient plants and animals. So these are the non-renewable energy sources. Nuclear energy, that is the energy released from atomic reaction, typically through the process of nuclear fission in reactors. Now, what is the importance of these energy sources? Why we use these energy sources? These energy sources are important for the economic development, for the quality of life, for technological advancement, for the transportation, for the environmental sustainability, for the energy security, for the rural development, for the climate change mitigation. We will talk about one by one all the topics. First, we are talking about the economic development. Industrial growth. Energy is crucial for industrial activities, powering machinery, production lines, and manufacturing process. Energy, what is crucial? That is very much important for the industrial activities. It power machinery. For the powering of the machinery it is required. For the production lines it is required. And for the manufacturing process it is required. For employment, the energy sector provides numerous jobs in extraction, production, distribution, and renewable energy projects. Means from where we produce this energy, these all the renewable sources, for the extraction of them, for the production and for the distribution, we need the peoples, and in the way this energy sector provides various employment. Infrastructure development. Energy resources drive the development of infrastructure such as roads, buildings, and communication networks. What this do? This energy resources drive the development of infrastructure such as roads, buildings, and communication network. Quality of life, household energy. Energy resources provide essential services such as heating, cooling, lighting, and powering household appliances. What does energy resources do? These energy resources provide various essential services, like you have the gas cylinder, you have the cooling devices. So for the heating purpose, for the cooling purpose, for the lighting purpose, and for the powering household appliances. In the healthcare department, reliable energy supplies are vital for the operation of healthcare facilities, medical equipment, and preservation of medicines. C. This energy is required for preserving the medicines, for various healthcare facilities, and for the medical equipment. So for that, we require the reliable energy supplies. So it is very important to improve for the improving of the quality of life. We require it in two sectors, for the household and for the healthcare. In economic development, we required it for the industrial growth, for the employment, and for the infrastructure development. In technological advancement, what energy do? Access to energy enables technological advancements and the development of new technology. Yes, access to energy, when we have the access to various types of energy, it enables to us have advancement in technology, and it also facilitates for the development of new technologies. Schools and educational institutions, they rely on energy for the lighting purpose, for the heating purpose, for the cooling purpose, and to power their educational tools and technology. To see where energy resources are making an advantage. In transportation also, this fuel is needed. We need oil, natural gas power vehicles, airplanes, ships, trains. This all, in all these sources, we require the various energy products, and which facilitate the movement of goods and people. Energy resources are also very critical for the construction and maintenance of transportation infrastructure. Means the infrastructure that is created for the transportation. For that, we require various of energy resources, which becomes very important for the construction of them and to have a proper maintenance of that energy, particular material. For having a proper environmental sustainability, we also required that what we required the energy resources. Renewable energy resources contribute to reducing greenhouse gas emissions and mitigating climate change. Yes, renewable energy what contribute? They contribute to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and to mitigate the climate change. Efficient use of energy resources reduces environmental impact and conserve resources for future generations. When we have an efficient use of energy resources, then it reduces the environmental impact, and yes, it conserves resources for the future generation. Clear, students, that how this energy the resources are helping in technological advances. It also helps in transportation, in maintaining the infrastructure for the transportation, in providing the energy for the particular vehicles. It also helps in have the sustainable environment for the renewable energy, and to have the efficient energy for the efficient use of energy resources. And it also reduces the environmental impact and conserve the resources for the future generation. For having an energy security, it is also important. The diverse mix of energy resources enhances energy security by reducing dependence on a single source and mitigating the risk of supply disruption. Yes, if we have a diverse mix of energy resources, means if you are seeing the car, it can be, we have electric cars, we have petrol, we have fuel, we have three options. Why it is so? Because if all the cars are of petrol only, then only one energy source is needed, that is petrol. And if it will not make available, then everything will be disrupted. So we have an alternative that we can have our diesel car, can have electric car. So if we have a problem, we can use anything. So if we have a diverse mix of, like we have in our home, we have scooters, we have bikes, we have car. For what? That it can be used at other different purposes. So diverse mix if we have for the energy resources, then obviously security of the energy is enhanced, so that you are not dependent on the single source, and it can mitigate the risk of supply disruption. Local energy production reduces reliance on imported energy and enhance national security and economic stability. If we have a local energy production, it reduces to have a reliance, so that we can import only the energy, and obviously when we didn't import this particular energy from another countries. So obviously our national security will be enhanced and we will have a more stable economic environment. Access to energy resources promote rural electrification, improving living standards and economic opportunities in remote areas. Means energy resources obviously promote rural electrification, it improves the living standards of the urban and rural areas, and people can have the more opportunities of the economic level. Energy resources, power irrigation system, machinery, and processing facilities boosting agricultural productivity. Means this energy also helps in promoting the agricultural productivity. It's like because it helps in the power irrigation system, it helps for the machinery, it helps in the processing facilities, it helps in boosting agricultural productivity. So that is all about the power irrigation system, machinery and processing facilities. This energy resources also helps in transition to renewable energy resources to reduce carbon emissions, combating global warming and its adverse effects. So it helps in reducing carbon emissions, combating global warming and its various adverse effects. Adaptation. Sustainable energy practices contribute to build resilience against climate impact such as extreme weather events. Clear, students? Means not only the biodiversity or to protect the forest is important, but this energy resources also contribute against the various climate impact such as the various extreme weather events. It is also protected by the energies. So energy resources are very much important for us in every aspect. It helps us into diversified fields. So it should be protected. Energy scenario and use of alternate energy sources. Increasing due to, because what is the scenario of this? Global energy demand have been created at a large scale. As industrialization have been increased, urbanization is increasing, population growth is increasing. Traditional to energy sources, they are various and under pressure to meet the rising demands. So there is a demand, there is a requirements that more and more energy sources should be found out and more energy sources would be created so that everything will be done on the large scale. Many countries are investing in renewable energy to reduce carbon footprints and enhance energy security. Various countries, they were investing in renewable energy so that they can reduce the impact of this carbon dioxide, its carbon footprints. And if they, as we have talked about, that if we produce locally, then it will promote and it will enhance the security of the energy and the obviously economic security. Dependence on fossil fuels is risky due to the geopolitical tension and resource depletion. Means it's very risky when there will be the fight. So what will be happen? The person who are dependent on this fossil fuels, then he will not get that type of diesel and everything. So it becomes very risky because the political tensions always go on. And resources also get depleted. But it's not important that this will be at the same level as it is before. So renewable energy sources that can be renewable. So they offer more stability. They are more stable because they can be used and their production can be done. So this is the case. Innovation in renewable energy technologies such as improved solar panels and wind turbines are making them more efficient and cost effective. Means when you innovation you are doing in the renewable energy technologies, you have improved solar panels and wind turbines, it will making them more efficient and it is having a more cost effectiveness, right? Now student, we talk about the biodiversity. What is biodiversity? Biodiversity, short of biodiversity, refers to the variety and variability of life on earth. It encompasses a difference between species, genetic diversity, between species diversity, and between ecosystem. Biodiversity is essential for the stability and the resilience of ecosystem, providing the foundation for ecosystem services that support life, including humans. Now, what is the importance of biodiversity? That biodiversity is important, as I have told you, Biodiversity means diversity of the various individuals, means species will be diverse, they will be belong to the various categories, and there should be various of type. There will be that various variety of species will be there, and various variety of ecosystem should be there, and it is important so that they can be have the ecological balance. Biodiversity ensures the stability and resilience of ecosystem. Different species play specific roles such as pollination, nutrient cycling, and pest control. So it is important to have the biodiversity. Biodiversity also provides resources like food, medicine, because if we have a diverse of the species, then from that diverse species we get the various other categories of food, medicine, or raw material that are very much essential for the human survival and the economic development. Many cultures and traditions are very much closely linked to the biodiversity around them, with species often holding symbolic or spiritual value. Means they were very linked to the biodiversity, and with the very species that has their like in the India we have the गाय हमारी माता है, हम गाय को माता मानते हैं. So there was a various gods and the species which hold the symbolic of spiritual value. Scientific value. Biodiversity is crucial for scientific research also because it provides various insights into evolution, ecology, and it always provides new medicines, new treatments, new things always in the research. So it is also very important for the scientific reasons. Now, this biodiversity is losing by the countries. The various factors are responsible for that. The various factors that are responsible for loss of biodiversity are habitat destruction. This conversion of forests, wetlands, and other habitats into agricultural land, urban areas, and infrastructure development. This conversion of forests, wetlands, and other habitats into agricultural land, urban areas, infrastructure development are the reason for this loss of diversity. Contaminates from industrial, agricultural, urban activities pollute air, water, and soil, harming wildlife and ecosystem. Means when this industrial, the waste that is coming from the industries, from the agricultural activities, from the urban activities, it not only pollute the air, it also pollute the water, it pollute the soil, it harm the wildlife, it harm the ecosystem. So this all is done through this biodiversity. Alters temperature and precipitation patterns affecting species, habitats, and migration patterns. Means climate change not only alter temperature, it's also alter precipitation patterns affecting species, habitats, and migration patterns. Unsustainable hunting, fishing, logging, and harvesting of resources lead to population declines and extinction of species because over exploitation of them. Means there is no rule or there is no checking on this, and people do things according to, and when there was the over access of it, obviously this population get decline and extinction of species. Non-native species introduced to new areas can outcompete, prey on, or bring diseases to native species, disrupting ecosystem. Several species also, they get harm to the other species, which bring disease to the native species and disrupt this ecosystem. Now, this is the biogeographical classification of India. Trans-Himalayan region characterized by cold desert with sparse vegetation. It includes areas in Ladakh, Laos, Spiti, with unique flora and fauna adapted to extreme conditions. Himalayan region ranges from alpine meadows to subtropical forests, providing diverse habitats. This region is rich in biodiversity and includes many endemic species. Desert region, the Thar Desert in Rajasthan, is known for a unique desert ecosystem, including specialized flora and fauna. Semi-arid region encompasses the Deccan Plateau and parts of Gujarat and Rajasthan. It features grasslands and dry deciduous forests. Western Ghats, a biodiversity hotspot with high levels of endism. It includes evergreen forest, grassland, and unique mountain ecosystem. Deccan Peninsula. It covers the eastern and western Ghats and the central plateau. It has diverse ecosystem ranging from tropical forest to dry deciduous forest. Gangetic Plain, a fertile region with diverse ecosystem including grassland, wetland, and forest, supports a high population density and the agricultural activity. Northeast India, known for its rich diversity and many endemic species. It includes diverse ecosystem ranging from tropical rainforest to alpine meadows. Iceland, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Lakshadweep have unique ecosystem with high endism due to their isolation. So student, this is all about the biodiversity today we have discussed. We discussed in the topic about the various energy sources and we discussed about the deforestation. These all things are for the environmental protection so that environmental can be protected, pollutions can be removed and more efforts can be done to protect our species and to have an environment for our future generation, our safe environment. This is a responsibility of the every individuals to live in, and it's a right of every individual to live in the safe environment. Thank you student very much for today's topic. We will discuss about others in our